I got to get to basketball here, though, because Auburn had their best win, I think, of the season as they rolled number 15, Arkansas, 95-73. In that game, Keionne Hall became the first person to go back-to-back 30-plus games for Auburn in 32 years. He hit 11 of 14 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. And Auburn wins it 95-73. Here's Stephen Pearl on a much-needed win.
They were excited about, obviously playing a really good team. They got a couple guys that are going to get their name called in June in the NBA draft, and, our guys got up for that. The challenge now is, we got to do that every night because you've seen what it looks like when you don't do it. You lose to Georgia in overtime and you lose to A&M at home. So, we just got to continue to build off of that. But I thought, after Tuesday night, lesser teams would have kind of continued to harp on that and let that affect their performance and get too low. Well, we got to do the same thing after tonight. Like, we beat a top 15 team. We can't let that get us too high now. Like, we felt like we should win the game playing them at home. Obviously I have a ton of respect for those guys. Like, they do such a good job, and Cal's done a great job with this group, and they're going to win a lot of games this year. But we can't let that one result, make us feel like we've done something because, we're still 1-2 in conference, and we still got some ground we got to make up.
And they go on the road to Missouri next.
Yeah, great ball rotation. Had really good shot selection. They go out and they shoot 57% from the field against that Arkansas team. That was really impressive. And such a needed win for Stephen Pearl and this program just to get things going in the right direction. Keionne Hall has just been so freaking good offensively. I mean, next level. And Tahad Pettiford, as far as sharing the basketball, they had 20 assists. 7 of those assists were Pettiford. He's got to find his shot, though. I mean, his last 5 games, he's 19% behind the arc. He's just I don't know if he's lost his confidence. I don't know what's going on, but at least he was involved as far as sharing the basketball.
It was a home game, too, which has kind of been Pettiford's, oddly, been a bit of his Achilles heel, right? As he doesn't play as well at home.
Yeah, that's what everyone always talks about when they're talking with Pettiford is that his metrics are actually better on the road than they are at home, just the opposite of most people in basketball.
Yeah, it is an odd one. And a lot of the talk, too, 10 of 22 from beyond the arc. Not.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. It's really, I was going to say 10, not in modern-day college basketball, the volume you would normally get. But if you can hit 45% of them, you take that any night.
Meanwhile, I'm in Tuscaloosa, and after 32 minutes of playing, and I did not see the TV broadcast. I'm sure Jimmy Dykes and them were talking about this, but I'm sitting there looking. I've watched 32 minutes of play at that timeout, that media timeout. And LeBaron Philon, Houston Mallette, and Aidan Holloway were 0 of 11 from three-point range with 8 minutes to play in the game. The 3 guys you count on shooting the 3-ball were 0 of 11. Now, I joked on the air Friday that if I was ever facing a firing squad, give the gun to Taylor Bowen.
He actually had a nice game.
He was 3 of 3. Yeah. And our buddy Chris from Night Edie texted me. He's like, bang, you're dead.
I would have done it for you.
Yeah, he was 3 of 3. He was the only guy hitting 3-point shots. He was unbelievable. But
yeah, I mean, even after you said, like, during the broadcast, Mallette and Philon ended up 0 of 9 behind the arc together.
Aiden finally hit one at 7:45, and Alabama trailed most of the game to Texas, who was coming off a game at Tennessee where Sean Miller had benched his starters. Said, "You guys are not giving me the effort. You're done. Sit down, and let the scrubs finish at Tennessee." He rallies them. They get an unbelievable game from Jordan Pope, who scored 28 points in 30 minutes. Alabama's got some issues, and Nate Oats talked about those issues after the loss on Saturday night.
When you look at the defensive issues that you need to fix tonight, do you think it's more of an effort issue? Do you think it's more execution or something different?
It's all of it. It starts with effort, a competitive edge. Guys just don't want to lose, so they're going to give you everything they got. Guys are apparently too comfortable with losing right now because they're not giving us everything they got on that end of the floor. So I think it starts with having guys that just refuse to lose to start with. And then from there it goes to, guys like in the moment having some personal pride on stopping their man. Like too many blow-bys, too many isolation plays where just beat one-on-one. guy's not locked in on the help side. A guy gets beat, and one play is coming to my mind right now. They rip it baseline. We had a guy that just gave up a straight line blow by, and a guy that's supposed to be our help man at the rim just standing outside the lane out to lunch, and it happens way too often. Losing doesn't bother them enough yet. I mean, I don't know how many losses it's going to take till it bothers them, but it is bothering me. It bothers the coaching staff, and as soon as it starts bothering the players enough, I'm sure they'll change. Because it bothered Texas. Texas lost 2 in a row, started 0-2, and that team looked a lot different than the team that played at Tennessee. So it obviously bothered them enough to change. So hopefully at some point it bothers our guys enough that they'll invest enough on the defensive end of the floor.
At Mississippi State, at Oklahoma this week for Alabama, Tuesday and Saturday. I do these instant reactions sometimes if I'm at a game for Brooks and our social media platform in Forrester. And I started off by saying, "Oh, nothing good coming out of this game, nothing good." And I really worried until I do it before Nate even comes out, and I'm like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said nothing good coming out of this game." I was too caught in the moment of sitting there watching them battle back and having a ball in hand and a chance to win it at one point or tie it, and then after hearing him talk, I was like, "Oh, I think I'm okay."
Yeah.
Nothing good.
No,
Nothing good in that game.
I think you are. That's a game you just don't lose. Texas is trying to find their way and get better, but that's supposed to be a get-right game coming off the loss to Vanderbilt. And I kind of understood the loss to Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt is better than people giving them credit for. Again, an undefeated team that Alabama lost to there. But this Texas, I think there's a couple of things that really concern you. I think really good guards are having a field day with Alabama because you can get to the rim.
Which is weird because they get the label as best backcourt in America. Alabama.
I think when people say that,
is that just offense?
I think they're usually talking offense.
Yeah.
But again, as I said, at one point through 32 minutes, they were 0 of 11.
Yeah, so they weren't even that.
Yeah.
What is Nate always? We even joked. He bitches about this so much. We
Rebounding.
Joked with him when he came on the show that if we had $1 for every time you complain about rebounding, they got to rebound about 10 at home.
Yeah. I mean, 48 rebounds too. That's a big number for Texas. Do you think Alabama drops out of the top 25?
Potentially.
Back-to-back losses.
It's going to be close.
Yeah. AP poll comes out later today. More importantly, way too early for bracketology to be part of our conversation, I know, but they were the 3rd, 4th seed in Lenardi's bracketology going into that game. So you could easily see whenever Joe does it again, them,
6 or 7,
them on the 5 line maybe. I doubt all the way down to a 6 yet. But
they've got that resume still.
Yeah, a bunch of good games on there, but I don't know, man. This is a weird team. Like, I watched that game before I heard Nate say anything, before I watched your gloom and doom video, before Nate said anything. They just don't strike me as a particularly tough team. Is that fair? And then watching Nate afterwards, no offense to you, but you're not in the locker room, but watching Nate afterwards, I'm like, it might be more mentally tough than physically tough.
Yeah.
Like when I say they're not a tough team, you generally think, yeah, physically they're not tough. That's how you get out-rebounded by 10. But I wonder if they're weaker mentally than they are physically. When you hear Nate Oats talk, it certainly sounds like that's what he's saying.
Yeah, and that's the most – losing a basketball game isn't the most important. I mean, you can get over those. If that is a competitive – what do you call it? Competitive edge.
Yeah.
Too comfortable in losing. Those are labels you don't want to have, whether it's January, February, or March.